If you want to manifest abundance, you need to understand the rules by which this society operates. Most people don't. Not because they're stupid, but because they've been programmed. Programmed by their school, by their parents, by books, movies, media, religion, social media, even random strangers. And the truth is, most of these people weren't trying to mislead you. They just didn't know any better. They were repeating what they were told, and so were you. So no, it's not your fault that until now you didn't know how the money system works. But if you choose to stay ignorant now, if you choose not to learn the truth from this point forward, then yes, it becomes your fault. Not just for your life, but for your future children and everyone you influence. That's why I'm here, to teach you the game. Here's the first thing you need to understand. We have to take the evil out of money. In my other videos, I talk about self-worth, about deservingness, about rewriting the beliefs you hold about yourself and your value. But this isn't about you and your self-esteem. This is about money itself. This is about what you think it means to be rich. If you believe being rich is unnecessary, if you believe wealth isn't part of a spiritual or meaningful life, you are wrong. That's not your truth. That's just what people say when they don't know how to play the game. It's what people say when they've given up or they decided to resent money because they never figured it out. But money gives you something real in this world. It gives you power. It gives you safety. It gives you comfort. It gives you freedom. It gives you the ability to protect what you love and build what you dream of. And no matter how spiritual or enlightened you think you are, if you live in society and not in a cave or an ashram, you need to learn how to master money. Because you can't be fully free until you do. Across traditions, from Indian scriptures to biblical teachings, abundance isn't a luxury. It's a sign of aligned living and dharma. In Hinduism, wealth, artha, is one of the 4 rightful aims of life. The goddess Lakshmi symbolizes divine abundance, and serving through wealth is considered sacred when aligned with dharma, righteous action. The Chandogya Upanishad calls the universe a limitless treasure chest, meant to be accessed through living awareness. Implying abundance is an existential reality for those who awaken. The Taittiriya Upanishad teaches that increasing food, a metaphor for prosperity, means increasing nourishment for everyone, serving as a spiritual duty in worldly life. Even spiritual leaders in modern India emphasize this. Money is a flow, a vibration, an abundance magnet. And mastering it means embodying harmonious energy, not shame or guilt. In Christian prosperity teachings, financial success and abundance are often viewed as evidence of divine blessing, faith aligned with God's plan, and honesty in spiritual obedience. And here is the deeper truth. No one tells you. The more money you have, the more lives you impact. Not just through donations or charity, but through service, creation, and energetic exchange. If you are making a lot of money, it means one of 2 things. You're either serving millions of people in a small way, or you're serving a smaller number of people in a deeply transformative way. That could mean selling a product that brings joy, ease, or beauty to thousands, or offering a service so powerful, so healing, so necessary that a few souls are forever changed by working with you. Either way, money is proof of your value transmission. It flows in proportion to how deeply your presence, your work, your ideas are felt. So, stop seeing wealth as selfish. Wealth is service at scale. And when you're aligned, money becomes the echo of your impact. So, how does money come into your life? Because there are a few channels through which it can come to you. And if you don't recognize those, you'll unconsciously block them. Money can come through inheritance from family, land, or assets passed down. Dependence, like being supported by a wealthy partner or parents. Gifts from family, friends, acquaintances, or even total strangers. Winnings, like lottery, gambling, or investment payouts. Royalties from intellectual property, and of course, employment, freelancing, and entrepreneurship. There's no judgment about how money comes to you, only clarity. Your job is to get honest about what you're willing to give in this life and what you're willing to receive, because every money stream has an energetic cost. Some require time, some require effort, some require risk, and some require surrender. But once you understand these channels, you get to choose your blueprint. Then, and only then, do we talk about how to earn. Because in society, there are 3 main ways people earn money, and each one tells a very different story about power, freedom, and purpose. So let's break them down. The first path is employment. This is when you work a job, hourly or salaried. You trade your time and energy for a consistent paycheck. You show up on someone else's clock. You follow someone else's rules. You contribute to someone else's vision. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. You can make good money. You can build skills. You can rise through the ranks. But you will always be on a leash. You don't control your time. You don't own the mission. You're there to serve a structure that you did not create. The second path is freelancing. Freelancing is when you still trade time for money, but you have a little more freedom. This could be creative work like writing, photography, music, coaching, or it could be gig work like Uber or DoorDash, babysitting, handyman work, or contracting. You're technically your own boss, but in reality, you're still working inside someone else's system. You're paid by the hour or per project. You're not being compensated for scale, you're being compensated for output. And again, this can be a powerful phase. Freelancing can pay very well, but the energetic truth is this: you are still fulfilling someone else's dream. The third path is entrepreneurship. This is where everything changes because now you're building something of your own. You're not waiting to be hired, you're not chasing clients. You are creating a vehicle that can carry your vision. Entrepreneurship doesn't mean inventing the next iPhone or starting a $1 billion tech startup. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be an inventor. You don't have to build rockets. You can own a cleaning company, a lawn care business, a bakery, a digital store, a clothing brand, a consulting agency. You can sell a product or a service. You can hire people. You can multiply time. You can detach your income from your hours. And most importantly, you can build wealth while fulfilling your own mission. Let's get to the next step. If you want to manifest money, you need to make up your mind. How much money do you actually want? And by when? Don't say a lot or enough. That's how people stall their own power. You need to name the number and set a deadline. Otherwise, you're sending the universe an undecided signal and you'll get delayed results. Your subconscious moves when you give it a clear target. The amount and the date lock in the timeline. So write it down right now. Write the number and write the date. That's your new standard. But we can't stop there because underneath that desire, you have beliefs. Beliefs about how money is made, and more dangerously, beliefs about how you are allowed to make it. Maybe you believe that people get rich by being born into it, by working 80 hours a week, by being corrupt, by becoming influencers or tech bros or sugar babies. And then you have beliefs about your own path. You might believe the only way for you to get rich is to land a high-paying job, or to marry someone rich, or to go viral, or to give up your values. But here's the truth. Those are not facts. They are beliefs. And because you believe them, you see the world through that lens. You manifest within that box. You act according to that code. But it's not reality. It's just your filter. Now, from where you are standing, you might look at your current life and say, I don't see how I could ever become rich. I don't have the connections, the credentials. I don't have the capital. That is the three-dimensional evidence. And yes, it might look convincing, but that's the trap. You're trying to manifest a new reality while staying loyal to the old one. You're trying to bring in miracles while still obeying limitation. If you want a different outcome, you need to overwrite the evidence. Because all that evidence is doing is reflecting your past beliefs. So now here comes the part most people skip. You have to take an honest look at the exact story you've been telling about how you're going to get money. Because if your story is wrong, your manifestation will be wrong. If you believe a six-figure job is your only ticket, you might manifest it and hate your life. And if you think you need a wealthy man, you might attract one and feel completely out of alignment. Why? Because that wasn't your true desire. Your true desire maybe was freedom, maybe it was power, provision, peace. But your belief hijacked your manifestation and gave you a shortcut that became a trap. So I need you to ask yourself, what do you really want? What's your actual desire? Not your programmed shortcut. Get honest with yourself and write it down as an I am statement. An I am statement is not a wish. It's not a vague hope or nice affirmation you whisper to feel better. It's a command, a declaration of identity. You're telling your subconscious mind exactly who you are and what reality it needs to start creating. Because the truth is, you never get what you want. You get what you are. When you say, I am, you are assuming the position of the creator. You are stepping into the frequency of fulfillment, not lack. The subconscious doesn't argue. It doesn't judge. It just receives instructions. And the clearest instructions are always identity-based. You're not saying, I want to be rich. That keeps it in the future. You say, I am wealthy. I am abundant. I am a highly paid creator. I am a woman whose life is fully funded. The subconscious accepts that identity as truth and begins to filter the world accordingly. But the power isn't just in the words, it's in the specificity. The more detailed your statement, the more magnetic it becomes. That's why you pair your I am statement with a clear number and a deadline. For example, I am a woman who makes $50,000 a month through creative work by December 2025. Or, I am a man who lives in his dream home by next summer fully paid for. This is how you write the blueprint, and here's why it works. Your subconscious is always seeking direction. If you don't give it one, it will default to your past programming. But when you feed it a clear, powerful identity, your subconscious locks on. It begins to reorder your habits, your thoughts, your perception. You start noticing opportunities that match your identity. You start ignoring distractions that don't. And over time, the world around you starts catching up to what you declared. You're not manifesting by hoping. You're manifesting by deciding. The I am statement is that decision in action. You've written your I am statement. Good. Now let's talk about how to use it. Your I am statement is the root code of your new identity. And once it's written down, you treat it like law. You read it aloud every single day, preferably right after waking up and right before going to sleep. Feel it. Speak it from the center of your being. Close your eyes, imagine it's already true. Not someday, now. Not, I hope this will happen. I wish. Not maybe. I am. Every time you repeat it, you're impressing the subconscious. And the subconscious doesn't argue, it just obeys. The more emotional conviction you add, the faster it moves. So don't just say the words, feel the reality of the words. Let your nervous system start adapting to the new timeline. You gotta become obsessed. Yes, I said it, obsession is not toxic when it's conscious and chosen. It's jet fuel for manifestation. If you've done this right, there will be a moment, maybe on day 10, maybe on day 3, where the statement no longer feels like a dream. It feels like a fact. That's when reality bends, because your subconscious now believes it. And once it believes it, it will move heaven and earth to make it true. So don't ask if it's coming. Ask if you're showing up like the one who already has it. Read your statement, feel it, become it, and then watch the world start to kneel. You want to manifest money? Then you better understand how asking actually works in this reality. It's not a prayer whispered from lack. It's a command issued from clarity. Here are the 4 unshakable truths. First, you become what you think about. This is the core of it all. Whatever you hold in your dominant thoughts with repetition and emotion gets planted deep in your subconscious. And your subconscious doesn't negotiate. It just obeys. So the real asking is not you begging some higher power, it's you feeding your subconscious a thought so vividly, so often, with so much intensity that it becomes your new identity. That's how it manifests. Second, your mind is a fertile field. Think of your mind like soil. It doesn't care what seed you put in the earth. Fear or faith, wealth or poverty, whatever you put in and nurture, it will grow. That's why clarity and consistency matter. If you plant confusion, don't be surprised when chaos shows up. But if you plant a clear goal, a defined financial outcome, and you water it with belief and attention, you'll reap exactly that. Third, you must be specific. Vague desires create vague lives. You don't manifest abundance by hoping for more money someday. You decide. You name the amount. You choose the deadline. You see it, feel it, rehearse it. The subconscious needs clarity to obey. The universe moves by command, not by confusion. And number 4 is you must expect it. This is where most people fail. They ask, but they don't expect. They say the affirmation, but deep down they're already doubting it. That energy is useless. When you ask like a goddess, you ask with certainty. You expect what you've asked for, not because you're entitled, but because you've done the work internally. You planted the seed, you've watered it, and now you're simply harvesting what is already yours. If you want to know the frequency that attracts miracles, watch my next video right here.